Hey everybody, welcome to the Plumber Show. My name is Dan.
Hi everyone, my name is Bea.
And I'm Alkrissa, and we missed you guys.
Exciting. I
And
know,
don't
I've been
forget
waiting.
to leave a comment for your ratings.
That is satisfying right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And I liked his plunger. I think I would want to get one of those baby plungers because I don't think I've seen one that small before because that's like a floor drain, and so the hole is like that big. So that's got to be like the smallest plunger that I've seen. It seems very versatile. I like it.
I think that's a
I'm gonna pick one up.
DIY.
DIY plunger.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he poured his own mold and made his own plunger.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call that guy.
And
It
buy
works.
that plunger from him.
Yeah, that. Typically, that doesn't work. Like, I'm not to bust this guy's video, but typically, if your drain is backed up that bad, you're probably gonna have to use a snake. So maybe he used a snake earlier. I don't really know, but usually you have to use a snake to clear something in the drain because if it's backed up and water's not even draining and it's just like static water just sitting there, then a plunger's probably not going to do it. It means that there's something more substantial in the drain that would cause it to back up like that. So it's either a lot of toilet paper, rag, maybe wipes of some sort, flushable wipes. But that being a drain that could have had numerous things in it, I'm not quite sure. But
Yeah.
for that video, it worked. And so for that guy, I'm going to say that was probably a pretty satisfying moment for that guy. That's how I felt after watching that. I was like, man, that's probably a huge relief for sure. That's what it felt like for me.
Yeah. I remember I felt like that too because in our house, when our sink is like clogged, we just use our hands like a plunger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huh.
we do that. We actually do
I
that.
felt more
Yeah.
satisfied with the sound.
Yeah, I like the
It's the
sound
sound
way
that you want
better.
to hear when you're using a plunger on your
Yeah.
toilet.
Yeah, that's way better. All right, what's next? Hey, he backed up. Nice.
Ooh.
I think they're doing
It's like an ASMR.
ASMR. Yeah.
Hmm. I like it. I like his tools. I like how he's backing it up. I think that's really helpful. The only thing that I would say is, as a plumber myself, looking at that video, putting silicone on some of that stuff, that's going to be a nightmare for the next guy that goes back. So, I mean, my guess is that that was his personal toilet because as a professional, we would never do that. And we wouldn't use that was 100% silicone. And so whatever he put in there with 100% silicone, it's going to be really difficult to get that apart ever.
Yeah.
So I hope that thing never leaks ever. I mean, he put enough silicone on that sucker. Like I was like, wow, that was a lot of silicone for such a small hole. But If that works for the guy, then that's great, but that's not typically what we do.
Mhm.
Usually, like a new gasket set comes with the appropriate gaskets that would fit in there. And so there's a top gasket and a bottom gasket. And so it basically makes a sandwich. And so when you put the toilet bolts, what we call them, it's where the tank attaches to the bowl, and there's a T bolt set. And so that T bolt has two washers, and then it has two gaskets. So there's a gasket up top and then a gasket on the bottom with two washers, and then it squishes it together, and then you tighten it up, and then that's what makes that seal with gaskets or rubber
Yeah.
washers. So, but the silicone, I mean, if you really wanted to do that, you certainly could. It's just if you ever had to work on that in the future, boy, that's going to be a nightmare for the
Yeah.
plumber to go then, because he's going to have to somehow get all that silicone off
Mhm.
to make a seal again. So that's going to be it's going to be really, really difficult. So, in my opinion, although it looked really cool, and I think that someone probably had a lot of fun with all that silicone, I wouldn't do that way personally.
Yeah.
As a licensed plumber, that's probably the last thing that I would do, because it has to be something that you can take apart and fix if it ever leaked again in the future. And so the fill valve is the one that he put in there, and so eventually that fill valve will fail. And so if someone has to get that fill valve off and it's full of that silicone or spooge, you're just never going to get it out. It's going to
Yeah.
be really difficult. So that's just going to be a nightmare for the next guy. And the next, say, like 10-15 years, when that toilet eventually the mechanisms in it fail just from old age. So
But do
Yeah.
you think
So
the video was satisfying?
I think it was satisfying. It was satisfying for me. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but I was like, well, it's that guy's personal house. So if he wants to put silicone,
well, that's
really,
that's the
silicone a lot.
plumber's POV, guys. It's satisfying for them, but for
Yeah.
Yeah,
us, normal people, it's not that satisfying.
It's the
I
kind
Maybe
wouldn't
of
do
it's
content that you would watch at like 2 a.m. to get
mhm,
yourself to sleep.
it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I
It's like
wouldn't.
a 2 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
I give it a 4 for me, because I liked it when he was. I was like, oh man, that looks like something an apprentice would do, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh boy, someone's gonna follow behind that guy. That's gonna be a day, right there.
I'm gonna give it a 3/10 because I like watching ASMR like that.
All right. Well, fair enough. What's the next one?
Ready? Yep. Oh,
Oh,
goodness.
oh wow. Oh
What's
my
that?
gosh.
A
That
snake?
is roots. No, it's roots. There's roots in the drain. Oh my god, that's a lot of roots.
I
How
thought it's a
roots? How
snake.
do roots get in
Oh
drains?
my god.
That's a long root,
That
bro.
is so impressive. Holy moly. Oh, that's in somebody's sewer.
It's never ending.
How did it get there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did
There's
it
a
grow there?
tree. There's a tree. That's why you never plant a tree over your septic or over your
Oh
oh
my
my
god.
god, that's a
It
lot.
looks like a snake.
I
Oh,
thought it was a
wow.
That
snake
looks
Oh,
at first.
scary.
and I would keep that, and I would take that, and I would just let it, like you could use it for decoration or something. No, I'm joking. That's actually more common than you think. Roots that grow in sewers. It used to happen a lot more with the old cast iron. It was lead and oakum. That's back in the old days, even before my time. And so, what would happen is if there was any kind of openings in the drain itself, trees are always looking for water, and they're looking for nutrients as well. And so the best way to find nutrients is in the sewer, because that has nitrates, it has, poo in it. And so the tree roots will wiggle their way in. And then once one of them gets in there, they'll continue to grow and grow. That looked like it had been like 40 years of, tree growth or something like that. Strange enough, that actually happens more common than you would think, especially with really big trees that need to drink a lot of water. If they find any kind of hole in the pipe, then that's what they'll do. And they'll just burrow in, and then they'll just continue to grow and grow and grow. Like that one, I mean, I don't know how many feet that guy pulled out, but it looked like it was a good 60 feet or something crazy like that.
It looks like an anaconda.
It looks like an
Yeah.
anaconda. Yeah, that's really disgusting. And that probably smelled wretched because that was soaked in poo.
Oh, in sewer water.
Yeah, it's sewer water. Yeah, totally. That's why it was so fat, and that's
Oh,
why it had grown so much. So yeah, little tech tip there: keep your drains closed and make sure that they're sealed. And if they're not, well, that's going to happen if you plant trees around your septic and around your sewer. That's why you should never plant a tree around a septic tank or any kind of openable areas in your sewer, because they will completely do that. So,
Yeah.
yep. And then you're going to be paying a plumber bill again, because somebody's going to have to come out there and they're going to have to either cut that out. That guy was lucky that he was able to pull that out in one time, because a lot of times what'll happen is the roots will attach to the actual pipe inside, and then you're trying to pull with all of your might and you're not going to get it. So yeah, that guy was really fortunate. That was probably very satisfying for anybody to see that. That guy was probably telling that story to everybody. He's probably like, when he goes down to the supply, he's like, you're never going to believe what I just pulled out of my sewer. And it was 60 foot long. And everybody's simply like, what? That's disgusting.
I guess trees really like poopy water.
Okay, let's see what's next.
I hope that's not sewer water and that's not a big turd.
Cement.
But it's kind of satisfying for me.
I don't know. That looks like maybe like a rain drain of some sort that got clogged. That's definitely not what would be for a sewer.
Yeah.
Not quite sure where the water's coming from on the other side of that wall, but
Yeah,
I think
I'm satisfied.
I think that maybe there's a big long tree root that's in it, perhaps, and that other guy that was pulling it out maybe caused that one to start flowing.
But what's satisfying for me was the way the people put like your fingers on top of the hose so it's more pressurized. I used to always do that when I was a kid.
I do that. I still do that until now with our host. Yeah.
I'm just thinking that whoever was doing that, I'm just praying that wasn't sewage, and that if it was, maybe next time when they're doing that and it's spraying all over their face and their arms, that maybe they would think about wearing a glove or two. Perhaps. I'm just saying, But for me, that was pretty satisfying. I mean, I liked watching that. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I hope that we have more drain clogs. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's that thing though?
It's a jetter.
Oh. It looks like a rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the head of the jetter. So
how is it moving?
Well, there's somebody pulling it from the other side.
I thought it's a remote control.
No, somebody is trying to get that drain unclogged.
But what's that for?
Well, I'm not sure what they're doing at the other side, but that was a jetter head that was going to go into it, and so they're cleaning out that pipe
Mhm.
basically. And so how a jetter works, and that one is kind of interesting because usually there's a jetter that's blowing water forward as the ones go behind it. And so how it
Yeah.
works basically is your sewer is clogged, and there's two ways to do it. You can use a cable, and the cable rotor rooter, or they use a rooting machine. Basically, a big drum spins, and as the drum is spinning, it's forcing a cable to go inside and just breaking up all of the debris. And there's usually a head, like a cutter head on it, that just kind of cuts things loose. But in this case, they're using a water jet. And so that's what we call a jetter. And so there's a big machine that pressurizes that line, and then it forces water somewhere upwards of 2,000 plus psi, with so many gallons per minute. And so the jets on the back, that's what pushes it forward. And then there's usually jets on the front that spin as well. It basically works as a cutter. And so then it goes through the drain, and it's basically pressure washing the drain from the inside. And so we do that a lot when there's like sewer drains on the outside that get kind of like sludged up, where it's not really solid material. It's just like there's a belly, and stuff just kind of gets stuck in it for a very long time, and it turns into like an oatmeal kind of consistency where it's not going to go anywhere by putting a cable through it. So you have to blow it out with more pressure that's going to create that push to get it out. So that looks like what that guy was doing. I haven't seen that kind of machine before. That was a different kind of head attachment than the ones that we use, but ultimately the same kind of thing. It's going to just clear out the substance that's
Yeah.
caught in that drain
Inside.
and
Yeah.
allow it to flow. So it was pretty satisfying.
Yeah.
I thought so good. I mean, I don't know what the audience thought of that. It looked pretty cool. Watching it from like top down,
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
seeing it like what
It
it would
looks
look
like a
like. But
rocket ship.
usually the
Yeah.
pipe is enclosed, and so it's not open like that. So you couldn't usually see what was going on.
Well, we're learning a lot of
Yeah.
plumbing stuff.
But
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
I
good
think
stuff.
our audience is also learning.
Yeah, let's see
Yeah.
what the next one is. I'm
I think
curious.
that's it. No more.
no more, yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that
Mhm.
was pretty good.
We learned a lot
Um,
from you.
I
And I
think
think
I
it
think
takes a lot to be a plumber.
I think that my favorite one was the tiny plunger. I don't think that would work
Oh.
necessarily, but I that was probably the most satisfying out of all of those. Of course, I don't know when he pulled that root out of that drain. That was pretty satisfying too. I mean, that was like
Yeah.
60 feet of like
Oh,
tree
dear.
roots coming out of a drain, and that's really uncommon. I'm glad they videoed that because I think that everybody should see that. That was actually pretty cool,
My
Mhm.
honestly.
favorite was
That
the
was
jet one because it
yeah.
looks like a rocket ship.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Mine's the mini plunger.
Yeah, I like the mini plunge. That's my favorite
Yeah.
for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
I watched this video. There's a snake in the toilet, and I will look for it and I will show it to you. It's real. It really happened. Yeah,
I
there's a
would
snake in the toilet, and they pull it up out of the toilet, and they
That
were
seems
so,
yeah.
so,
dangerous.
so.
I
Yeah.
don't yeah, I don't I mean, it could be possible.
Mhm.
I mean, some snakes swim, so it could if it went in the drain. Because so, like the city drains are really big because they have huge manholes, and so like a lot of the city drains where the septic goes down, some of them are big enough to walk in, and then in the center is where like the trough is, where all the
Mhm.
solids and stuff pass. And
Yeah.
so other kinds of animals, snakes, can get in there. There's lots of like rats and different things
There's
that
a clown
you
in
know.
there.
Yes, and a clown, depending on which movie
No,
you're
that's
Yeah.
watching.
scary.
Yes.
IT.
So, but
No.
well, hey guys, thanks for watching with us today. We're gonna have more videos on the next show, and they're gonna be equally as satisfying, if not more. So I'm looking forward to next time, and we're gonna see some really cool stuff. So thanks for joining us today. Again, my name is Dan.
I'm B.
And I'm Alkrissa. Thank you so much, guys.
Guys, don't
Thank
See you
you,
forget to
next
everybody.
time.
subscribe.